Cool name. Superpowers? Nice!
Among the true fans of combat sports, you won't find a single one who doesn't know the legendary Croatian policeman Mirko Haikikovic and his signature blow. However, most fans of the new generation know him mainly because of his amazing MMA career, as there he declared himself as one of the most terrifying punchers in Pride history. But today we will go back even further to remember the entire path of Croat before moving to MMA, when Mirko fought on equal terms with the most dangerous kickboxers on the planet in K-1. 1996. Croat is 21 years of age. He has already sharpened up his best shots in the garage. Having seen enough movies with Van Damme, graduated from the police academy and improved boxing. So it was high time to apply his skills to people who were ready for it. In his debut fight, Mirko was thrown to slaughter by the French cyborg Jerome Le Banner, who at that time had a 10-2 pro record. Start of the fight and immediately kicks exchange. Croat openly aims at Jerome's body and sticks his iron fists into it, but Jerome has got some guts. He responds with a slap in the face. This only provoked Mirko and he continues to try to turn Jerome's liver into paste. The Croat is tired of hitting the liver and he throws out the left straight, which flies exactly to the address. Jerome gets up quickly and the fun continues. Well then, Mirko again arranged a real hunt for Cyborg's organs, after which almost destroyed Cyborg with his signature. In the fourth round, the activity of the fighters was still on the level, but in the fifth round they decided to show that in spite of the fight they are very glad to see each other and it was time for man hugs and feelings to be expressed. Jerome was the first to break down, and having exploded, he took the ending of this fight into account. However, this wasn't enough for him to defeat the young Croat, and due to the knockdown in the second round, the victory goes to Mirko, who announced himself very loudly that evening. The same 1996, and young Filipovic blasts into the K-1 Grand Prix, hitting one of the strongest kickers in the history, Ernesto Hoost at the first stage, who was on a 21-3 record. In our time, the Athletic Commission would probably not approve such a fight or bet all their savings on Ernesto. Mr. Perfect only smiled in response to the boys' attacks, playfully avoiding the attacks of the Croat. In the clinch, Mirko also couldn't oppose anything to the Dutch master, quitting from which Hoost was kicking 3 chopping low kicks in a row. The beginning of the end for a Croat, despite the fact that he carefully hides the pain. Hoost with his low kicks made Mirko think only about his legs and quietly launched a right straight. Mirko received a real low kicks overdose in this fight and went to the Dutch kickboxing school named after Ernesto Hoost. So the second fight wasn't as successful as with Le Banner, but this wasn't the end of Croat's race. He took a break for a year and a half and then came back and won 5 victories in a row, 2 of which were very tough. First, the giant from South Africa, Ian Nortje, collapsed from the left hook of Croatian policeman. And then Ricky Nicholson felt Krokop's signature high kick already at the 2nd minute of the match.
3 years ago and I'm back. I have intention to stay.
Who would you like to fight next if you had a chance?
It doesn't matter.
1999, Krokop goes up against another K-1 legend, Mike Bernardo, who was 10 times more experienced than a Croat and managed to test his power with all the titans of kickboxing of those times. The experience is certainly good, but Krokop also had one trump card which was always relevant and in any battle could bring all the opponent's efforts to zero. It took Filipovic only 45 seconds to get close to Mike and charge the high kick hidden behind the combination. Bernardo rises and is ready to continue. The Japanese public is pissing fire. They like the beginning that already smells like an end. Mirko felt blood, and as soon as the fight resumed, he again makes a knockdown with a series of punches. Consciousness didn't leave Bernardo, and the referee again allows him to continue, but Krokop is simply ruthless. 3 knockdowns in 20 minutes and the fight is over. Pure work from Croatian knockout master. In the same 1999, Mirko flew into the World Grand Prix with the participation of a huge number of K-1 stars. At the first stage, he had a fight with the Japanese karateka and a kickboxer Musashi. Filipovic confused the rings a little bit and threw the Japanese over the thigh, after which he realized that he was in K1 and loaded a savory uppercut, which he backed up with a high kick. The Japanese is on canvas and the referee is counting the knockout. Musashi of course gets up, but it looks like it's over for him. Mirko simply knocks out the Japanese in the second round and steps into the Grand Prix semi-finals. At the second stage of the tournament, our hero had to face off with Sam Greco. In this fight, Greco's right leg had already been seriously injured, and Croat definitely have been aware of this, so this is a decent trump card for the semi-finals. The fight begins and Greco punches an accidental ball kick with an injured leg, and with such power that he himself could hardly stand on his feet. Mirko is angry and wants retribution, but instead of balls he goes for Sam's head. But no matter how long Sam holds out and resists, Mirko uses his health advantage and breaks the leg of an opponent who just barely had enough to hold out for 2 rounds.
K-1 チャンピオンになりたいです。
It is time for the final boss. Again Mr. Perfect, who had just passed Andy Hug and Le Banner, and of course wasn't going to stop there. Krokop makes it clear from the start that he is no longer the newbie who's beaten 1996. But Ernesto continues what he finished with the last time, to hit sharp low kicks. Mirko responds with hands combinations and mixes them with high kicks, which crash against Mr. Perfect's defense. In general, it looks like a round for Croat. In the second round, the intensity of this shootout only increased. Hoost still didn't want to leave Krokop's leg alone, who switched to boxer mode and tried to reach the legendary champion with his hands. In the third round, Ernesto changed the floor and it worked. He first knocked Filipovic down with a blow to the body and then secured his achievement with a liver punch, which was the last in this confrontation. So Hoost became the champion of the Grand Prix, and Croat lost for the second time in a face-to-face meeting. He was never able to solve this Dutch puzzle in the person of Ernesto Hoost. In September 2000, Mirko rehabilitated himself by knocking out Hiromi Amada. But unfortunately, the video of this fight hasn't reached our days, but the high kick of their rematch will perfectly fill this gap. Mirko beat the Japanese twice, the second time by decision. And then he had a fight with the blue-eyed samurai Andy Hug, who during his career managed to defeat absolutely all the tops of that time. This evening in the ring, Croat's legs were not the most dangerous and spectacular, and in confirmation is the axe kick from Hug that scared Croat at the end of the first round. In this battle, Mirko relied heavily on his hands, or rather the uppercuts, with which he covered the samurai in the fourth round. Hug withstood the onslaught, and this fight eventually came to the decision of the judges. It was a well-deserved victory for Andy and a worthy rebuff from Mirko, for whom the K1 bosses decided to lower the level a little. Croat went to the average Stuart Green in Zagreb. He simply demolished his opponent in 2 rounds and was included in the list of participants in the K1 Fukuoka 2000 Grand Prix. On the way to the final, Krokop beat Glaube Feitosa and Hiromi Amada via decision, and in the final he clashed with Mike Bernardo, while Croat came out to this fight with his right leg being injured. He too diligently beat the Japanese who correctly put blocks. Mirko tried his best to protect the weak point, but as soon as Mike hit once, Croat immediately fell. His corner didn't tempt fate and threw in the towel. So in this short fight, Mike took revenge and became the champion of the Grand Prix. And after this defeat, KNOCKOUTS got beaten by Mr. Perfect again, already for the third time. After the defeat to Hoost, Mirko rebooted with 2 victories in a row. At first, he playfully dealt with the Japanese Tatsufumi Tomihara and then was able to beat the K-1 legend Peter Ertz, taking the fight by decision. However, his cruising course was stalled by the black sniper Michael McDonald. He shook Mirko with a hook in the clinch and after that didn't let Mirko go off. Michael ended the fight in the first round and the KNOCKOUTS suffered a sad defeat.
No interview.
In 2001, Mirko already started alternating kickboxing and MMA performances, but few people know that the Croat had his first MMA fight in K-1. It was a tournament in memory of Andy Hogg. Mirko's rival was Kazuyuki Fujita, and he held out for as many as 39 seconds before KNOCKOUTS warmly greeted his takedown with a knee. The Japanese covered in blood both himself and the Croat and the flooring, as a result of which the cutman was forced to stop the fight. Fujita's relay was kindly supported by another Japanese, Ryushi Yanagisawa, who was also destroyed and declassed in one round. And then the unique event for the world happened. Perfect Mirko's high kick flew into the perfect Mark Hunt's head, and if after such a blow a mere mortal would have been waiting for death cab, for Mark it has been an ordinary missed blow and no more.
How is Mirko's high kick?
Why you see me? I got caught again and can I say he's got a good high kick.
Is it really, really strong? Like his high kick is
Strong enough. Strong enough.
Surprisingly, Hunt got up after such a bomb and continued the fight, which eventually lost by decision of the judges, and after a while took revenge in MMA. And by the way, a review of Mark's career in K1 is gathering dust on my channel. For some reason it didn't arouse the viewers' interest at all, although there is something to see. Link will be in the description just in case. 2 months later, Mirko entered the battle against another famous kickboxer, Remi Boniaski, with whom KNOCKOUTS had to get even for his recently beaten friend, and the vendetta started quite cheerfully. The exchange of kicks and Remi gets a signature to the head, after which he's blocked by a hard defense and tries to survive under the Croatian hail of blows. Remi switched to bag mode and decided not to get out of the solid defense, which Mirko was breaking with armor-piercing streaks and combinations. The referee stopped the fight and another high-ranking scalp in the face of Remi Boniaski appeared on the Croat's trophy wall.
For eternal death!
サップの挑発をミルコは冷静に答えた。
He's fine.
Immediately after the Flying Gentleman, Mirko was sentenced to a duel with Bob Sapp, who personally entered the ring to execute Croat. To the surprise of those who are new to Bob's career, in those distant times when the grass was greener, he really could and was going to do it. Bob, without swinging, decided to finish off the Croatian cyclist, who at first simply ran away from the beast and didn't dare to chop to death with him. Mirko ran a little and struck a middle kick, which he secured with a hard straight, and the beast was defeated. The referee stopped the fight and Croat celebrated a great victory for himself. That is how he estimated it at that time. Well, Sapp ended up with a fracture of the eye socket. The hit was really hard. After this fight, Mirko decided to throw all his forces into MMA, specifically Pride, where he became one of the best heavyweights in history and won the Grand Prix in 2006. If you liked my review and want to see more K1, give me a feedback in the comments. And also do not forget about likes, reposts and subscriptions. Any activity is a plus for the video and my personal motivation to continue working.